Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Darrell Winninger from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center, and across the high desert it's been a gorgeous Tuesday, and we have one more round of pleasant temperatures, but by tomorrow afternoon our next round of showers with the potential of some thunderstorms is in the forecast. So we're going to take a deep dive into your most reliable forecast, look at what we've been seeing, some records that have been broken, and then dive into what you can expect. We're going to do a little bit of analysis, and you get a glimpse of behind the scenes from when I'm forecasting. But let's start off with our weather headlines. A cold front is coming into the high desert, really the Pacific Northwest Wednesday. This is going to be the system that triggers an active weather pattern with big changes ahead and has a chance of thunderstorm activity. Now, gusty winds are expected for most of the high desert both Wednesday and Thursday, and a big cooling trend is expected. And with that cooling trend, our snow levels are going to be falling as well, and those dropping snow levels are going to lead to some snow in the Cascades and even some snow totals in our lower elevations. So just looking at that real quickly, we are expecting between now and Thursday at 11 p.m. mostly rain pushing through the high desert. And remember, a lot of this rain is going to be happening at the onset of our active pattern and continuing with another system Thursday and Thursday night. And by Thursday at 11 p.m. we're looking at even more mountain snow expected. But there's also that chance of thunderstorm activity that I was talking about, and I started covering this yesterday, but it looks like this system's going to be a little bit more developed as it rolls through. On the other side of the Cascades, through the valley from about Roseburg all the way through Seattle, it looks like not quite up to Bellingham in Washington, but also including parts of the Olympic Peninsula, there's a slight risk of severe weather. And with that slight risk, there's a low chance of some tornadoes, reports of strong winds, maybe even wind damage, and the potential of some hail. We're going to be looking at all that plus more, even in our Tri-County area through the next couple of minutes. But there's also, for Central Oregon, this marginal risk of severe weather. That means we're not expecting anything in the way of tornadoes, but strong winds and up to an inch hail possible in some of the thunderstorm activity. Most of it is going to be through the Cascades and further off to the west. But right here and right now, what we have across Central Oregon is mostly sunshine. It's been a gorgeous day. There are some light clouds through the Tri-County area, and temperatures not just well above average for this time of the year, but record-breaking highs, more like May than March. And when we focus on satellite and radar, there have been some light clouds pushing through, but that's pretty much it. And looking at the bigger picture, what we're seeing is we're still under a broad ridge of high pressure. You could barely see the top of that high just on the bottom part of this. But when we zoom out a little bit more, we can see that there's a warm front to our north. Our cold front is still well off the coastline, and that puts us firmly in the warm sector of this next system. So winds are mostly out of the south. They're at a light breeze, but they're contributing to some warm air advection. That's warmer air coming into the Tri-County area. And what that means for us is this is setting us up for an environment that's conducive of thunderstorm development for tomorrow, not today. And looking a little bit more at the bigger picture, what we're seeing is that high pressure is coming from further south and just expanded right into the Pacific Northwest. Now, further out over the Pacific Ocean, that's where we have some action going on, and that's where our next system is already developing. So getting a closer look at this, you can see where those isobars are, those white lines. Those are equal lines of pressure, and that helps us because it creates a bullseye where we have low pressure or high pressure. In this case, it's low pressure, and that's still strengthening. We see more of those lines added on. And what that means to me is the system is not done developing, and that's why the folks at the Storm Prediction Center bumped that up to a slight risk of severe weather on the other side of the Cascades. But for us, we still have this chance of thunderstorm development, and one or two of those cells could become strong. So that's that system. There's another one further out over the Pacific Ocean, and this second system is going to come into play, but much later in the forecast, still during this active weather pattern though. So let's go ahead and look at our forecast model, and this one is the one that I use every night on air, and it starts us off by showing where we have that frontal analysis. We have that warm front that's to our north, that cold front well off to our west, and this system is still 500 to 600 miles off the coast coastline of the state line between Oregon and California. And so it still has a lot to go, but by tomorrow afternoon, before it even makes landfall, that's when we have our risk of thunderstorm development. So let's go ahead and look into that, because our forecast model is showing that here through tonight, feel like clouds. By tomorrow, starting off sunny and cool, warming up quickly back into the 70s, and then by the afternoon hours, as temperatures are still picking up, getting towards peak heating, we're starting to see some showers develop in our Tri-County area. On the other side of the Cascades, already have a couple thunderstorms beginning to develop, and then fast forward a little bit more, and some of those thunderstorms could stray to the east slopes of the Cascades, come down into the lower elevations, and impact parts of central Oregon. Either way, through the afternoon tomorrow, we'll be able to look out towards the Cascades and see some of those thunderstorms that are pushing to the north. So for us, it'd be left to right as they go on the other side of the Cascades. Frequent lightning is expected in some of those thunderstorm cells that are on the other side of the mountains. And if some of them develop for our Tri-County area, we're also looking at frequent lightning, strong winds, and the potential of a little bit of hail. After that, cold front pushes out, snow levels drop, temperatures drop, and we are still expecting more rain, with snow in the mountains Thursday night, even going into Friday. Rain and snow showers early, becoming some sprinkles by the afternoon before this system rolls out of the region, and by Saturday, in and out clouds are expected. Let's focus on the potential of lightning and hail. And I'm going to go ahead and open this one up so we can go back and forth with it. Okay, so here through Wednesday starting at noon, not much. And then shortly after noon, we start to see some red on the other side of the mountains. Now, what I've done is I've taken the lightning product from one of our forecast models and changed it. I've enhanced it a little bit to pull out where we have that potential of some lightning. That's everything that you see in red, and the brighter colors after that. Where you see the pink, that's the potential of some hail. And really, the hail potential doesn't go up until we get further into the afternoon, but notice that one cluster of thunderstorms is just pushing north on the other side of the Cascades. By this point, at 2 p.m., 2:30 almost, we haven't even seen any potential for lightning in the lower elevations of central Oregon, and it's not until we get further into the afternoon. So by 2 to 3, that's when temperatures are going to be peaking. Where we have thunderstorms in the high desert, they're going to be dropping pretty quickly. And then on the backside of the cold front, a bigger cool down is expected. So through the afternoon, a chance of some thunderstorms is in the forecast. None of the thunderstorms that are showing up in this forecast model are showing that pink, the potential of a hail core. And so we are mostly just looking at the chance of some thunderstorms that continue into the evening hours, and most of those happen over the crest of the Cascades, and some of those thunderstorms come down toward the 97 corridor. Then that cold front pushes through. So let's go ahead and look at a different one real quick, and I'm gonna throw something in there that we're gonna get to later. But different forecast model. This is the NAM, the North American Mesoscale model. It's also showing that shortly afternoon some of those thunderstorms develop, and most of them push through on the other side of the Cascades. This one shows, however, some potential of showers with, we're getting into the yellows, maybe some reds, over Lake and Klamath County, some thunderstorms, and some of those could come into the Tri-County area. But again, the NAM is showing that mostly on the other side of the Cascades until we hit the evening. Then some of those thunderstorms could crest over the Cascades, coming into the Tri-County area just before they start to fizzle out. And most of these models are showing that by 9 o'clock, the chance of thunderstorms, definitely the risk of severe weather, is out of the area. Now we go to helicity, or mid-level rotation, and where we see some the potential for some updrafts. And that doesn't show much in the way of progression until we hit about 2 p.m. And even so, that's over on the other side of the Cascades near Eugene. And with that, we're looking at all of that activity pushing to the north. Now, in the lower elevations of central Oregon, we start to see some of that mid-level rotation by the time we get into the evening, but it's not nearly as intense as what we're looking at in the highest elevations. And with this, our winds are going to become very gusty for most of the high desert. Right now, today, it hasn't been too bad. Gusts between 12 and 15, 16 miles per hour. And even right now, actual wind speeds are light. And so we had a gorgeous day today, but when we look at the winds trend, what we're seeing is that through the overnight hours, a gentle breeze. By tomorrow, during the afternoon and evening hours, we're talking 3 to 7 p.m. That's when winds are really picking up, and the greatest potential of those strong winds are expected. This is not looking at thunderstorm activity. So if thunderstorms develop in your area, winds are going to be much stronger. And then fast forward to Thursday, we just have gusty winds from the midday all the way through the afternoon, and by sunset, winds start to taper off. Now, when it comes to temperatures today, we topped out really high. Still waiting on some final numbers for Sisters and Sun River, but I did see that most of the high desert actually got into the 70s. 79 is a high in Redmond and Bend. Look at this. I actually did the math on a couple of these, and we broke record high temperatures in Bend, Madras, Sun River, and Sisters, some of those by a lot. The record high temperature at the water treatment plant in Bend right across from the airport was 70 degrees set back in 2007. Today we hit 79. Redmond tied a record high set back in 1960. Madras and Sun River, a couple degrees warmer than that high, still broke a record. And in Sisters, 77, that record high was 74, set back in 1960. So record high temperatures across the high desert. Meanwhile, right now we're still in the 70s and not even dipping into the 60s just yet. And this is as of 4:50 p.m., so just before the 5 o'clock show. And so that means temperatures are running between 2 and 12 degrees warmer than we were just 24 hours ago. Now we have one more gorgeous day. And after that gorgeous day, we have that chance of thunderstorm activity during the afternoon getting into the evening. Rain's going to continue the next couple of days. It's going to be off and on, but we have a huge drop in temperatures going from 75 degrees on Wednesday as an average high temperature for the Tri-County area to 57 Thursday to 52 by Friday. So that means 50s and some 40s. It is going to get chilly pretty quickly, and those winds are going to be strong as well. We're going to look at one more forecast model. This is the one I pulled in earlier, but we didn't get to until now. And this is actually showing geopotential heights, and that really helps us focus on where we have either a broad ridge of high pressure, or in this case, that strong low. It shows the height of that, the thickness of it. And what we're seeing is it's continuing to intensify off the coast. And from the coast all the way back to that low, we have some pretty strong winds. Now here through tonight, that system gets a lot closer, and by Wednesday it's pushing into the region. That's when we have some afternoon thunderstorm activity, and then we start to see the development of another low, and that one's going to bring some back-to-back cold fronts into the area. So I'm going to go ahead and look at that one more time. It starts off as one low, then we have a break-off low over Canada. The original cold front pushes out of the region, and a second reinforcing cold front starts to get a lot closer. So by Thursday, it's going to be cooler with more showers. Thursday night, we start to see mountain snow. So we go from 70s to 50s and a few 60s to 50s and some 40s by Friday as that next cold front starts to lift. It starts to break apart. So that's what we're expecting across the high desert. And tonight, it's going to be cool. Not even too chilly. We're looking at 40s, a few 30s possible with some light clouds. Through Wednesday, we're looking at temperatures topping out in the 70s with a few 60s possible, scattered showers, and the potential of some thunderstorm activity. And then going forward through the rest of the 7-day planner, by Thursday, it's still gusty. We still have rain showers. By Thursday night, rain and snow showers. It's where we start to see some of those light accumulations. And then by Friday, we're looking at much cooler conditions, really just chilly across the high desert, that cloud cover sticking in. And by Saturday, we get a brief break between systems. Sunday and Monday brings another system into the high desert, and that one, we're looking at stronger winds, more mountain snow, rain in the lower elevations. But that is the latest in weather. Real quick, let's look at days 6 through 10. Oh, we're staying below average for this time of the year from the latter part of the 7-day planner out a little bit further to day 10, and it's just going to be wetter. And so now we'll get back to it. That's the latest in weather. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. This has been your deep dive into your most reliable forecast for Tuesday, March 25th. A front is rolling in, could bring some thunderstorms Wednesday afternoon. It's going to be gusty for most of us Wednesday and Thursday, and a big cooling trend is on the way, coupled with falling snow levels and a transition from mostly rain to snow in the Cascades and rain and snow showers in the lower elevations by Friday. Anyways, that is the latest in weather. We will see you tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. The first show is at 5 o'clock on ABC, then again at 11 on ABC, and then 6, 7, and 11 on CBS. Join us. We'll have more of your most reliable forecast, the latest breakdown of any models that are coming out anytime soon, and everything else you need to know about the next couple of days. We'll see you then.